Hey guys, on this channel we talk a great deal about side hustles and how they play a role in helping you get to financial independence a lot quicker. I often recommend people start a blog, and I've often also recommended that people start YouTube channels, okay? And I keep getting the question, people keep asking me, Ken, which one would you go for? Would you start a blog today if you had to start all over? Or would you start a YouTube channel? Okay, so for a bit of background, I run both a blog and a YouTube channel. And the blog I started about 2.5 years ago, and the YouTube channel about 8 months ago. And I've got completely different views about both of them. So I'll be sharing with you today on this video the pros and cons of blogging versus the pros and cons of starting a YouTube channel. I will also share with you near the end of this video a number of questions that I think that you should be asking yourself if you are considering starting either a blog or a YouTube channel as a side hustle, okay? My name's Ken of The Humble Penny and Financial Joy Academy. What we do on this channel is to give you the tips, the insights and practical hacks to help you work towards a dream life of financial independence and money joy. So the first thing to start off with saying is that if you are thinking about starting a blog or a YouTube channel, I would say start either one of them. You can't start both at the same time, okay? Because that's just not going to work. You've got to choose one to start with. So keep watching this video right to the end because I'm going to share with you all the information I know about these various side hustles, and hopefully you can take the information away and personalize it and turn it into something that will help you take action to get started today. Okay, let's dive straight in now and talk about some of the pros. We're going to focus on blogging first, talk about the pros. Talk about the pros of blogging and why I think you should go ahead and start a blog. So pro number one is that it's a great platform for you to set up as a creative outlet. Okay, so when I started out, I was never somebody who would ever start to stand in front of a camera and film and do anything like this. So for me, the blogging was the low-hanging fruit, something I could get started with. It was cheap and affordable, and I could get started and have something I could call my own. So that'd be the same thing for you. You could explore blogging as an affordable platform to get you started on something creative. The second important advantage, and this is absolutely critical, is that you actually own your blog. Okay, so if you've got a self-hosted blog, one that's actually your own, you host it somewhere else, the entire content on that blog is yours and you can own it pretty much forever. Whereas when we talk about YouTube later, you'll hear me say that everything on your YouTube channel, the actual YouTube channel itself, is actually not yours. Okay, it is, but Google can shut you down, or YouTube can actually decide that they want to turn the lights out and can really shut down your YouTube channel. Okay, so that's one really critical distinction, one that really gives the blog a bit of an advantage, is that you have ownership and you can take that ownership and turn it into a bit of a business. And one day you can actually go and sell that blog. In fact, there is a market out there for buying and selling blogs, i.e. blog flipping. I know, right? I'm going to put a link below. Feel free to check out in some of the notes to this video. I'll put links to certain websites you can check out for where you can actually buy and sell blogs and make a great deal of money from them if you've created a blog that actually has monthly recurring revenues. The third pro for blogging is that you can monetize your blog. And this is one of the biggest reasons why most people start their blogs, because they want to make some extra money to help them pay their debt off or whatever, right? So you can monetize your blog through many different ways, through advertising, through sponsorships, or through affiliate income, i.e. by selling products created by other people, products and services. You can also sell your own products, which is what's really exciting about starting a blog, and that you can do quite a lot to monetize it, okay? I'll put a link below and above to a video we did specifically on how to create a money-making blog, okay? Check that out. I went into a ton of detail into how you can go about monetizing your blog, specifically actually for people in the UK, although people outside the UK can use that information and create a money-making blog themselves. Next pro is that it's great if you love writing. Okay, so I was never good at writing anything. I got a C in my English GCSE. So I've never really been good at writing. But then I thought, you know what? I'm going to use this as a way to kind of develop personally, to kind of write things that I'm interested in and kind of see if anybody likes it. And as things would go, my blog took off and it's done really well in 2.5 years. It's been featured on many platforms, many media sites like the BBC, Channel 5, lots and lots of platforms, lots of newspapers like the Metro, which has been fantastic. So it's had a lot of exposure, but that exposure has come from a lot of work. But the key point I'm making here is that if you like writing or you want to get better at writing, remember, you don't have to be good at it. You might just want to be better at doing it. You might want to improve your communication. Then blogging is something to start. It's also a good way to kind of understand human nature, understand how people think, because people tend to spend a lot of time writing responses and comments and things like that for you on various pieces of content that you might create through your blog. The final pro I'd mention with blogging is that it can actually become a highly recognized brand, okay? So unlike a YouTube channel, lots of really big YouTube channels that become really well known, but a blog is essentially a website, but with lots and lots of blogging content. It can become really well known and referenced a lot by lots and lots of other websites, okay? That can then create a lot of future value because the more you have lots and lots of website linking into your own blog, the more that blog will do well for search engine optimization on Google, and the more likely it will be found when people search for certain keywords. Okay, let's talk about the cons now, because let's keep it really real, right? Everything's not all good with blogging. There are things that you must do which is such a pain, right? So con number one is that you must do all the work to generate all your traffic, okay? And you see when I talk about YouTube, it's a completely different thing. With blogging, you've got to almost self-generate your entire traffic, whether it's coming from Google through search engine optimization, or whether it's coming through social media or coming from Pinterest and places like that. So a ton of work goes into creating content that will rank. So you do lots of keyword research and lots of competitor research to find the right type of keywords to target. When you create content around those particular bits of keywords, those bits of keywords then potentially look to do well by search engine optimization. So that will be the first con. And because you're doing all the work, it leads me straight into con number two, which is that blogging can be time consuming, okay? So there's no getting away from the time consumption that's required for you to create a really good blog post, because there's so many elements to it. I mean, think about it. When you start the blog, you've got to set the thing up, which is fine because you're learning a really important skill set. You're learning digital skills. But at the same time, you've got to spend the time. So you've got to really find the time to set the blog up. Then you've got to spend some time to make it look pleasant to the eye. So you've got to spend some time to research and create the content. Then you have to spend some time to promote that content and further spend more time collaborating with other people. But yeah, it works because I did it and so can you. But the point still remains. It is time consuming. The third con is that blogging is highly competitive. Okay, there are millions of blogs out there, millions. But what I've found is that the more you kind of niche down into a particular area and the more your blog is fairly authentic and speaks with a particular voice, your blog can stand out and can become a success. So I only started 2.5 years ago, okay? And the blog is doing really well in kind of our own assessment and the assessment of other people, okay? I've created a free course for blogging. If you want to check it out, look in the link below and above. It's had really, really good ratings from people who said to me, wow, I never thought about blogging from this perspective of storytelling. So check it out if you're interested. Feel free to sign up and explore potentially creating a blog for yourself as well. Okay, so the next con is a really important one, which is that blogs are not very personal. You have to do a lot of work to make your blogs personal, using images, using colors, using so many things to make somebody know you, like you, and trust you, okay? So lots of people will visit your blog, take your stuff, and disappear. They never stop to think, hang on, wait, somebody actually owns this blog, and it's like I'm visiting their home, and I've knocked on a door and I've come inside. So they don't stop to check you out. Okay, that's the key thing with blogging. So it's not always very personal. There's some blogs make the effort to actually become really, really personal. And you find that it's those blogs that are really personal that actually end up standing out from the crowd because people are interested in knowing who they are, what they're about, and what their story is. Blogging is about storytelling. The final con with blogging is that although you can make money from ads on blogs, the ads don't pay as well as you might see on YouTube, for example. Okay, so ads pay you by CPM, cost per mil, cost per 1,000 impressions. Those tend to be a lot lower on the blog compared to, say, on YouTube. But again, this depends on what type of niche you're in, what type of content you're creating, and also on what time of year you are creating those bits of content. Okay, so let's move on to YouTube now and look at the pros and cons of YouTube. So I'm new to YouTube. I've only been doing this, believe it or not, for the last 9 months. Before that, I was sitting back in my house thinking to myself, ooh, what if I get judged? What if people comment and say really mean things? Boy, I had to find out for myself, right? So I started a YouTube channel with my wife, Mary, okay? So this has been going on now for 9 months and it's been a ton of fun. Do you know why? Because you communicate very differently on video. So on a blog post, I'd have to think about my grammar and think about emotion and think about layers. But here on YouTube, I'm just myself, right? It's either you kind of like it or you don't, which is fantastic. So YouTube, the first pro I'd say is that YouTube is a lot of fun, okay? And you can just enjoy it and enjoy the process of learning about video, learning about cameras, learning about my lights, stuff like that, which are skill sets I never had before. And you also learn about the skill set of communication, which is hugely powerful for becoming a success pretty much at all aspects of life. The second massive pro for YouTube is that YouTube is a massive search engine, essentially. So the algorithm on YouTube does the job of promoting all our videos. I don't spend any time promoting my videos at all. All I do is create the videos. Then I say to my wife, hi babe, videos are ready. Can you please edit them? She goes and she edits them on Adobe Premiere Pro. Once they're edited, we go through a process of uploading them, and then YouTube takes that content and goes completely nuts promoting it. So you would never get this with a blog because a blog is self-hosted. You've got to promote your own stuff. But on YouTube, you have a machine on your side working for you all the time. Pro number 3 with YouTube is that it's an amazing way to build an audience, right? And to build that trust, like, know, all that stuff. People get to know you because they can hear you speak. They can see your quirkiness. They can judge your emotions. They can know if you're just faking it or being real. Right? That's why I love this platform, because you can be yourself and people can see it. Okay. I've had, in terms of like perception, I've had some weird things happen, like walking down the street and I hear someone calling my name out from a bus. Just some really strange things. I was walking down Oxford Street the other day. Some random guy just stops me and shakes my hand. They've been really odd things. Coming back from Cambridge, the guy at the corner shop, the W.H. Smith's at the station at King's Cross, suddenly goes to me, Ken, I've been watching all your videos. You're so inspiring. I'm like, wow. So you can basically have huge impact on people's lives because they can hear you, they can feel you, they can gauge your authenticity, and they can get to like you. They trust you a lot quicker on YouTube compared to, say, if you were doing a blog. But remember, they both carry their strengths and their weaknesses. So this is definitely a pro for YouTube. The other pro is that you can get paid really well on YouTube. So YouTube obviously pays through the ads here on YouTube, and the ads on YouTube pay a lot higher compared to, say, the ads that you might generate via running a blog. So that's the other difference. So the CPM rate on YouTube is a lot higher. Ours, last time I checked, was around £14 on average per 1,000 impressions, okay? Which was a lot higher than I might have generated on, say, my blog, for example, okay? The CPM is actually usually stated in dollars, but on my phone it shows up in pounds. So you can get paid a lot more in terms of ads. But the other pro, which I should talk about now, is that you can also make money in different ways on YouTube beyond just ads. You can sell other people's products as an affiliate, or you can sell your own digital products, your own things that you create, whether it's an online course, whether it's an ebook, whether it's an event even. You can sell lots and lots of things through YouTube. And because people know you and they like you and they trust you, they are a lot more likely to buy from you because they've seen you on YouTube. All right, let's move on to the cons of YouTube now, because there are many of them as well, okay? You know, I mentioned to you that the process was I'd create the stuff, I'd hand it over to my lovely wife and say, hi babe, please edit this stuff. Now that's the really important bit. The editing takes a ton of time, a lot of time. In fact, there are times when Mary, my wife, would spend that mortgage video we did, which, you know, seems to have just gone like nuts. People love that video about how we paid off our mortgage. That video took, I reckon, probably 12 to 24 hours of editing, because like she was learning this stuff and she was doing it. Even now where she's really good at doing it, it still takes a lot of time. So editing is an important part, because we're YouTubing, you have to plan your idea, come up with your concept. Then you go away and research that idea and say, okay, this is why I believe this would do well. I've got data for why this idea would do well. Then you create the content, which I'm doing right now. Then I go away and move that process on to someone to edit. It just happens to be my wife in this instance. She then edits, and then it moves onto the bit where you do bits of admin to upload the content onto YouTube and tag it and all kinds of things. So that all takes quite a while, but luckily once it's done, YouTube then promotes the content on your behalf. The next con is a major one, and I mentioned this briefly before. You do not own your YouTube channel. Yes, it's yours and your name's on it and you've got your pretty pictures, but it's ultimately not yours when you read the small print, okay? You own the content on it though, i.e. your videos and things, which you can download and take to another platform. But YouTube or Google, they can actually, they can stop your channel. They can delete it if they wanted, okay? So it's not like the blogging, which you actually own and you're in complete control. So because you own your blog, you control it. Ownership and control are two massive pillars for generating wealth, kind of ordinarily. But in a YouTube platform, you don't own it, although you do control it most of the time, but that control you have could disappear because that ownership is not within your grip. Okay, that's a really important con. The final con for YouTube is that YouTube is competitive, okay? But not as competitive as blogging. So I'd probably say that YouTube is about 1/10 the level of competition that you might have through a blog. So for example, I'm creating this content in the personal finance niche in the UK, and there aren't that many people, but there are a ton of blogs talking about money and personal finance in the UK. Now, what's the difference? Well, the difference is not many people are willing to take the leap to stand in front of the camera and grow in their personal development and share their message. I took the leap. I challenged myself and put myself in front of this camera and faced the potential judgment of whoever comes across my content. And for taking that leap, we're being rewarded as YouTubers here on this platform. So although YouTube is competitive, you can do certain things to really stand out. And what you end up doing, instead of spending a lot of time as you might do on a blog, you spend all that time on the YouTube focusing on quality, focusing on value, focusing on being authentic, focusing on being consistent. All those 4 elements together with the key elements of storytelling and creating interesting content means that you stand out from the crowd on YouTube. People find your stuff, they love it, they trust you, and they subscribe. Okay, so if you had to make that decision today, should I start a blog or should I start a YouTube channel? Here are the important questions that I think you should really be asking yourself in order to decide, okay? The very first question I'd be asking yourself is, which would you really enjoy doing? Which is fun for you to do? Okay, now I'd tell you right now, I actually really enjoy making YouTube videos because, it's just fun. Like, I set my camera up and I talk about a subject in my own voice, and I know based on people's comments that they actually really enjoy our content, and that enjoyment and the feedback I get comes back and gives me more motivation to create even more content. So I'd say Choose one based on which one you think you're going to enjoy doing first. Choose that one instead. The next thing to consider is which one really aligns with your goals that you're trying to achieve. So I'll give you an example. When we started the blog, my goal was to create something that I owned and something that was like my creative canvas, an area where I just share stuff I wanted. When we started the YouTube channel, my goal was to challenge myself to come in front of the camera. I kind of feared this whole idea of filming and like being judged and stuff. So for me, it was a personal development journey. But parallel to that, I also wanted to expose the humble penny, the blog, to a whole new audience here on YouTube. Okay. So my question to you is, what is your goal for wanting to start either a blog or a YouTube channel? And which of these two platforms better aligns with helping you achieve that goal a lot quicker? If you can get the answer to that, you will know which one to choose. The third question is, how quickly do you want to grow an audience? Now, this is really important. If you want to grow an audience super quickly, then I'd say start a YouTube channel, without a doubt. I mean, I've seen it. We've grown so much, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's via the blog, whether it's via Instagram, purely by starting the YouTube channel, even though the YouTube channel came after the blog. Again, because of this know, like, and trust factor. It helps you build an audience a lot quicker. And then the final consideration is on how you might be using your time. Okay, with blogging, you'll be spending a lot of your time initially understanding the technicalities of how to create your blog, how to start to write, and that in itself has a lot of value. How to create blog posts, how to use WordPress, platforms like that, or Squarespace, or whatever it is you're using, and how to then start to market your content. So for me, I feel our growing success on YouTube has come about because we'd learned certain skills on the blog first, okay? So you have to think about your time allocation. Do I want to spend more time doing that stuff on the blog, or do I want to focus my time on trying to create quality content that delivers value authentically and consistently? That's what YouTube's about. So if you can decide on how you want to use your time, it's also another way for you to decide which of these two platforms you want to pursue first. I'd love to end this video by saying to you that if you choose to start a blog, it doesn't mean you can't start a YouTube channel later, and vice versa, okay? Pick one and get started. The real thing is being consistent, because if you can build that muscle of consistency, you will succeed no matter what platform you're on. And my ideal scenario is one where we are running a blog and running a YouTube channel, and both of them feed each other, because what you find is that you tend to have different audiences across both platforms. And what we expect we'll do in the very near future is that we'll end up then moving the skill set we've learned from both platforms and create our own podcast, which many people have been asking me, Ken, you must start a podcast. And I'm like, maybe I should start a podcast. So we will most likely start a podcast in the near future. If you'd like, actually, let me know in the comments if you would love for us to start a podcast in the near future. I'd also love to hear from you in the comments. If you're somebody who's been considering starting a blog or a YouTube channel, have you started one? Which one did you choose, and why did you choose the blog or the YouTube channel? Let me know in the comments. Guys, I really hope you've enjoyed this video today. Please make sure you hit that like button if you really enjoyed this video, because it really helps to encourage other people to watch our videos. If you're new to our channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that notifications bell so you get notified when we create content twice a week on a Tuesday and a Thursday. Guys, thank you so much for watching. It's been a lot of fun making this video, and I look forward to seeing you again on our next video. Take care and bye for now.